Okay, so we're on this journey of learning to follow Jesus. In particular, learning to follow Jesus with a whole lot of other people who are also learning to follow Jesus. And that this is not just a good idea or a church idea, but a Jesus idea. That it's by design and it's part of the Jesus way. That learning in community is an essential part of how we are formed and transformed. Now remember, we're not just here to fill our minds with more ideas and thoughts. I mean, let me use this example. One of my favorite things to do is to fly fish. And one of the main reasons why I love fly fishing is simply because it is almost always in these beautiful surroundings with beautiful mountains and beautiful waters in beautiful parts of the country. Can you see what's so appealing about it now? Now, one of the difficult things about fly fishing is the actual cast. Where with conventional fishing, you kind of chuck your bait out with a sinker and almost anyone can do that. But with fly fishing, there is no sinker. The fly weighs a couple of grams. And so the whole learning curve involves learning the technique of casting a fly rod, which is not too different, for example, from learning a golf swing. So as an avid learner, I was watching a video the other day talking about some aspects of my fly casting that could be improved upon. But that means absolutely nothing until I actually put a fly rod in my hand and get out there and practice and put it into practice some more until I develop that technique. And that is exactly what Jesus has in mind when it comes to our transformation, where he's saying, okay, here's the truth, here are some thoughts, but now I'm going to show you what this actually looks like so that you can go out and do this yourself and show others what this actually looks like. So let me give you a practical example from the scriptures. Jesus says in John 13, he says, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." So, can you see this progression here? Here's a little something on God's love. And to be honest, how many sermons have we heard on God's love, right? Something we kind of think we know, right? But then Jesus says, but if you really want to know what God's love looks like, look at how I have loved you. Okay, cool. Now it's no longer just an idea. It's something I can see and experience and receive. But then Jesus takes it one step further and he says, okay, now you've heard about God's love. You've seen how I've loved you and put that into practice. Now you go and love one another in the same way. Oh, and by the way, this is actually how the world will see practically that you are my disciples, my apprentices, by the way you put this into practice. Now, can you see how this concept is growing in terms of becoming apprentices to the heart and ways of Jesus? Becoming like him and also being part of communities that are also becoming like him together. And where communities are like the training ground of learning to put the ways of Jesus into practice. And in this case, learning to love each other the way Jesus has loved us. So in our groups, we're going to spend some time fleshing this out. But not just so that we can have a wonderful conversation, but rather that our love for each other can begin to look something like his love for us. And even when and if we fail, and even when and if we don't get it right, or just honestly don't feel like it, I'm hoping you don't feel like that means you're out. Rather, you're learning new ways. You're figuring it out. You're not fully formed yet. And just like any one of us will spend untold time perfecting a fly fishing cast or a golf swing or our leadership skills, we don't stop just because I missed the fish or I missed the ball or I missed the business pitch. Rather, we carry on learning. We pick up where we left off. And so my hope is that your communities are places where you do lean into this intentionally. You do try new things. You do put yourself out there. And that your communities are places that encourage you when we don't always get it right. God bless you in this.